Today's story is about a young Ghanaian girl who moved to England, full of hope for a fresh start, but quickly discovered that not everyone would welcome her with kindness. It's a story of bullying, resilience, family, and the surprising twist of discovering an ally where she least expected it. Before we dive in, take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story like this. And I'd love to know. Comment below where you're watching from. Whether you're in Ghana, England, America, or anywhere in the world, your voice matters here. Now, let the story unfold. The corridors of St. Margaret's Academy in London stretched long and cold, their pale grey walls echoing with the chatter and footsteps of hundreds of students. For most, the halls were nothing more than paths between classrooms. But for 16-year-old Amara Mensah, who had moved to England from Ghana only 3 months ago, those corridors felt like battlefields. Every morning she walked them, clutching her books tightly to her chest, her uniform pressed neatly, her braids tied back carefully by her mother before dawn. She wanted so badly to blend in, to find a corner of this strange new world that felt like home. But no matter how carefully she tried, a voice always found her. "Ugh, there she is again," sneered Emily Whitmore, a tall, pale girl with a ponytail pulled so tight it gleamed under the fluorescent lights. She leaned against the lockers with her usual crowd gathered around her. "Smells like curry again, doesn't she, girls? I swear that's how everyone in Africa smells." Her friends erupted in laughter, sharp and cruel. Amara froze mid-step, heat rising to her cheeks. She didn't even like curry. Her mother cooked yolov, banku, ground nut soup, and kelewele. But to Emily, Africa was nothing but a punchline, and Amara was its walking target. "Leave me alone," Amara whispered, her voice trembling. She hurried down the corridor, ignoring the stares, the smirks, the giggles. But Emily was relentless. "What's the rush, curry girl? Afraid we'll all find out your whole family smells the same?" The laughter chased Amara like shadows. For weeks, this had been her reality. Every insult, every shove in the cafeteria line, every cruel note slipped onto her desk, telling her to go back to Africa. And for weeks, she had stayed silent. She didn't want to trouble her mother, who was already working long shifts, to keep them afloat. But one afternoon, things went too far. In the cafeteria, Emily shoved Amara's tray hard enough that rice and stew splattered down her uniform. Laughter roared around her. Amara's throat burned with tears, but she refused to cry. Instead, she turned, left the cafeteria, and found herself drifting down the hall until she stood outside the principal's office. She hadn't meant to come here. The wooden door loomed tall, the brass plaque shining. Mr. K. Adeyemi, Principal. Before she could turn away, the door opened, and the principal himself stepped out. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his warm brown skin and calm eyes framed by thin glasses. His deep Ghanaian accent filled the hall when he spoke. "Young lady, are you all right?" Amara froze. I'm fine, sir." But then his eyes widened, studying her face closely. Amara Mensah?" Her heart stopped. "Yes, sir." "How do you know my name?" A smile spread across his face. "Because I am your mother's brother. I am your uncle." The world tilted. Amara's mouth dropped open. She had heard of her mother's older brother in England, but her mother had never said he was a principal. Mr. Adeyemi placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I wanted to give you space, to adjust before stepping in. But I can see now you've been carrying more than I realized. Tell me what has been happening." The words tumbled from her lips, cracked and raw, the insults, the laughter, the humiliation. For the first time, she let it all out. Her uncle's jaw tightened, but his voice remained steady. "No more, Amara. You are not alone here. You belong as much as anyone." Emily called in. The next day, Emily Whitmore was summoned to the office. For the first time, she didn't swagger when she entered. She sat stiffly in the chair across from the desk, her fingers twitching. "Emily," Mr. Adeyemi said, his voice calm but firm. "Do you know why you are here?" Emily shifted. "I guess. It's about Amara, but I didn't do anything that bad." "Not bad?" His tone sharpened. "You mocked her in front of others. You shoved her tray, and you have done this repeatedly. That is not a joke. That is bullying." Emily rolled her eyes faintly. "She's too sensitive. It was just..." "Enough." His voice cut like steel. "Words can wound as deeply as fists. When you insulted Amara, you did not only target her, you reduced an entire continent to your ignorance. Would you want your family traditions mocked in front of the whole school?" Emily's cheeks burned. "No, sir." "Then why should she endure it?" The silence that followed was crushing. "Bullying has consequences," Mr. Adeyemi continued. "Effective immediately, you are suspended for 1 week. When you return, you will attend cultural sensitivity sessions. You will also deliver a formal apology to Amara and to your entire year group, and you will complete 20 hours of service in the school library. Do you understand me?" Emily's face went pale. "Suspended? But my parents..." "Your parents have already been called. You will explain your actions to them." Tears welled in her eyes. For once, the Queen of the Halls had no words. Word spread quickly. Emily had been suspended. For the first time, Amara walked the halls without being laughed at. Students who had once stayed silent now glanced at her with a kind of respect, or at least guilt. Some muttered small apologies. At lunch, a girl named Sophia slid into the seat beside her. "You're really brave," she said softly. "I should have spoken up before." "I'm sorry." Amara smiled. "It's okay. You're speaking now." The cafeteria felt different, safer. A week later, the entire year group gathered in the assembly hall. Emily stood on the stage, a piece of paper trembling in her hands. Her once confident voice cracked as she read. "I want to apologize," she began, "to Amara and to all of you. What I said was cruel. I made fun of her for something I didn't understand, and I encouraged you to laugh along. That was wrong. Amara deserves respect. We all do. I will do better." The hall was silent for a moment. Then clapping started, tentative at first but growing until it filled the air. Emily stepped down, her face red, her eyes lowered. She walked past Amara without a word. Amara sat still, her heart racing. She didn't feel triumphant. She didn't feel vengeful. What she felt was lighter, like something heavy had finally been lifted. In the weeks that followed, life shifted. Emily kept her distance, quieter than before. Teachers were quicker to notice teasing. And Amara? She began to bloom. She joined the debate club, where her sharp mind and steady voice surprised everyone. She laughed more at lunch, her table now filled with friends. At home, her mother noticed the change. "You're smiling more these days," she said one evening over bowls of hot Yolof. Amara nodded. "Things are better now, Mama." They see me differently. But deep down, she knew the truth. It wasn't just that they saw her differently. It was that she saw herself differently. She was no longer just the new girl from Ghana. She was Amara Mensah, niece of the principal, daughter of resilience, and a young woman who had faced cruelty but refused to be broken. And this was only the beginning of her story.